Hello and welcome to the Sideline Live podcast. My name is Orla Keeling and I am the host of the podcast, where every week we bring you a brand new episode with guests ranging from Olympic champions to local heroes, coaches, support staff and anybody involved in the world of sport. Each week we will dive into different topics, including current affairs in sport, identity, skill, mindset, coaching, and also shine a light on those flying under the radar. So tune in for brand new episodes, new stories, and new insights you've never heard before. Delighted to be joined by Coach Hudy, the one and only. This is, as I said, the second most impromptu podcast I've done on this trip. We're here just chatting in the women's basketball facility in Storrs, Connecticut, just to set the scene. Coach, thanks for agreeing to come on and for listening to me waffling for the last hour and a half.
No, it's great. I wish we would have turned this on 2 hours ago or an hour ago.
Yeah. I'll start with the question I started early on with. You've worked with world-class athletes. What makes them world-class?
Well, we've talked about it since, but competitiveness, whether it's proving themselves right or other people wrong in a sense, being aware, taking in information all the time. And what did Juby say?
Competitiveness, I think.
No.
Or
what did she say? Just wanting to be better.
Yeah.
Right? Constant improvement.
How has that, your coaching, evolved?
I would say the same way. Yeah. You know, you always want to just striving to be the best for yourself, but for the people around you. You know, it used to be here, this was 1995, so we're talking over 30 years ago, where you work with some of the best people and you know you have to show up every day and be the best that you can be for them. And it was like an athlete factory. It was every hour on the hour, and we were just training. And the culture within the weight room, same for every team, no matter who it was. And it was just work hard, be intentional in what you're doing, be competitive, and fight. Now, these athletes that we have are so specialized, right? That now it's trying to figure out what each individual needs based on where they are, which...
Easier said than done.
Oh, man. It's different every day, but the same every day. So you're trying to read the athlete, they're trying to read the situation, and it's a dialogue between you and the athlete. It's constant communication. How
much do you approach your training? We were talking about the variables and, you know, the different aspects that go into particularly female athletes. How much of your approach is dictated by how they feel that day?
Well, I don't think we can go based on how they feel because there's a job to do, right? But what can we do to get them to where we need them to be is the point. Now, that's not easy, right? Because... you're just trying to get them to what we need to do on a particular day. And I feel like we've come up with a rhythm, and the athletes know what to expect and know the standard and know that winning is the outcome.
I'm looking at the sheet when you said standard, where there's a sheet here in your office, UConn performance, where standards live on the page. What are the standards of a program like UConn?
Yeah, well... So this was for my dissertation and what I'm writing now, and it was, I'll read it. How about that?
Go for it, yeah.
It is a reflection of our culture. So this paper is more than a document. It's a reflection of our culture. Smith breathe competition, accountability, and the relentless pursuit of better. The way we write mirrors the way we train with discipline and clarity and collective purpose. We do not write for recognition. We write to raise the standard. For the athlete, for the coach, the staff member, the person next to us chasing excellence. Our culture bleeds through every section, and those things are competition, unselfishness, accountability, standards, team, the edge, because growth lies in discomfort, and we write from that place. And winning, not as the outcome, but as a habit of doing things the right way every day. So the same values that define our training I try to define in my writing, which was every reference, every figure, every paragraph. It speaks one truth, that performance is culture and culture is preparation under pressure. We honor those who came before us.
It's about the legacy as well, and building. Everyone is building on the legacy that it has been and what it's become to. I remember Paige and AZ did an interview. I can't remember what game it was, but was it Sue Bird and Jana Trossi were, saying, they were like, "Where are you on campus?" And they said, "We're in the kitchen." And they said, "We built you that kitchen. Our success got you that kitchen. You're welcome." I just thought it was funny. Like, it's all about building. And that's what we were talking about before we recorded, about Paige had said before, the hardest choice is to come here because you're joining a legacy program, and success is a championship. What's your personal definition of success?
Trying to make the best of every situation that comes my way and trying to better that, be better myself. We talked about mental toughness, and we said that a neuroscientist gave me the definition that mental toughness has a lot to do with forgiveness, and can you forgive yourself for the mistakes you made, for bad decisions, but it's just based on growth. You're different every day, so can we be better?
One of my favourite questions as well is, I haven't asked you this one yet.
Uh-oh.
Is, you're like, oh God. What's the biggest lesson you've learned from sport and coaching?
Biggest lesson? Humility. You get knocked down all the time, and you just got to get back up and forgive yourself, be tough, move forward, have grit. Always try to communicate, speak your truth. Mentorship's important, because are you on the right path for the organization? And just trying to be the best. I don't know. But what is the best, right? I have a quote here on my computer. I have my way is for the right way, the correct way, and the only way it does not exist. So what do you know what that is? It's a moving target.
For the listeners, just to paint the picture of Hudy's office here, it's covered in quotes and post-its and reminders. It's like my dream office. Everyone that listens to this knows I love a quote. I'm a big quotes fan. I'm interested, when you mentioned mentorship, what's the best kind of piece of advice or lessons you've learned from your mentors? You named one or two of them earlier when we were talking.
Best piece of advice that I learned from my mentors, I don't know. I think it's all critical feedback, right? And some of it's not good, some of it's hard because it's the truth. And just being around good people, I think, and people that'll raise you up. And that quote is here. It's the journey, the highs, the lows, the fight between them is celebrated, not bypassed.
Yeah. And that's what we spoke about as well before recording.
Yeah. So I think it's about trying to find yourself through good mentorship, what you can be, and what people see in you and what you see in yourself.
When we were chatting, we were about being curious. You were extremely curious. You were asking me questions. I was like, what are you asking? Learning from me, writing a few things down. Likewise, and the same with you. Where does that curiosity come from?
I have no idea. Just trying to figure it out and help people, I think. It's never going to stop. With me, anyway. I doubt with you. If we talk about, you ask questions or give comments, or you're just trying to figure out why a framework works or why something works this way, and sometimes that sets people off, and you're just curious. And I've learned a lot of the times that some people don't like curiosity. Some people just want you to do what you're told or fit into what you're doing, but I think curiosity is key. I don't know.
You mentioned on the podcast I listened to, kind of before meeting you, I was listening to a few things, and one of the things we spoke about as well was if you overdo it, and like, you're always encouraged to keep going and pursuing in academics. You can't overdo academics. I think it was the line you gave. Whereas in sport and other aspects of life, and probably curiosity as well, you're asking questions. People say, take it easy, relax, But there is, as you say, you can't overdo. You had a great line. What was it? You can never overdo something.
Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Now, we can overdo it, but we need to learn from overdoing it, right? And I think you brought it up because it was in the context of women in sport, where I was told as a young girl sometimes to chill out, or don't be so competitive, or why do you have to be so rough? But they would have never said that to me in the academic. Oh, keep exceeding, or keep being successful if you're successful academically, but not in sport in some way.
What's the most important skill that you need to be a successful coach?
I don't think there's one. Surrounding yourself with good people, hiring people that are smarter than you, or see things differently than you, because I don't want me rolling around here. I would rather, we have great assistants here, and great assistants that come from different backgrounds, that have martial arts, badminton, bowling are my assistants, right? I played football, American football, basketball, track, volleyball, but everybody still has the same competitive standard on wanting to be really good and learning from what they participated in.
We were talking about what makes a great coach, and we were referencing, Coach Gino Auriemma. You've been around so many amazing coaches. What is it? What's the key ingredients?
I feel like he allows people to grow and grow into what they want to be. It's not easy, right? Because you're going to make mistakes. And can you have the mental toughness to forgive yourself for that and be better? But I think he lets myself as a staff member make mistakes or not do things the way he wants you to do, but he'll ask you why. But it's always an opportunity for growth. Yeah, for everybody.
You mentioned as well on the podcast that I listened to about communication and how it's evolved with younger athletes, with, Gen Z, Gen X, all the different,
I'm Gen X.
Oh, yeah. In terms of, all the, just a different age profile of kids coming in. Everyone talks about, probably part of that generation that we've, less kind of attention thanks to TikTok and scrolling all the time and instant gratification.
I don't think it's good. It's not, because it's constant. It's constant stimulus. And when do you ever relax and get to know you versus comparing yourself? And I've done that, It's not good. It's like we need to figure out what's going on here and deal with what we're dealing with here, who I am, who they are, and just figure it out. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it takes away from people learning who they are.
Because we spoke about as well, they come here so skilled and so, sometimes physically ready, but because of early specialisation and the level of training, the amount of training that kids do now at a young age, but maybe emotionally aren't they're obviously not at the same level because they're young. They're teenagers starting college. It's a big transition of their life. How do you manage that?
Time. Standards, growth, accountability. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody, whether you're pushing, what we want and the rules. Rules without relationships is rebellion. So you have to understand who everybody is around you, or try to anyway, or get to know them to move forward. Yeah.
There's a quote behind you, time, the only solution to get better and the biggest obstacle to overcome. It's the big factor in everything.
Yeah, yeah. Some people's time path is different than others.
How important is patience in the pursuit of mastery of something?
Well, that's like saying, do you have a balanced life? And no, I try to, but yeah, you have to have patience, because if you didn't, you'd go mad.
Is there a particular athlete that you've worked with that's maybe taught you a lot about?
All of them.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. Everybody comes from a different place. You never know what experiences they have. They don't know what I have. I'm trying to meet them where they are and elevate it.
Do you find the interest in the evolution of, women's sport and the progression of the likes of, like we were talking about, in sport when you're younger, maybe as a girl, sometimes you're told to not be as intense. Just the change in that, like I think the US women's soccer team, this program here at UConn, there's been so many key female sporting figures and teams. Even we were talking about Billie Jean King there this morning. Just how has that evolved in your time and as an athlete and now as a coach?
Well, I think younger women see that now more than ever, which provides potentially more opportunities. I said earlier, like I didn't have those mentors. The only mentors I had were really the coaches that helped my career. A lot of them have been men. A lot of them have been women. My volleyball coach from high school, she was my phys ed teacher. She was my biggest cheerleader, and it wasn't on the court, it was in phys ed class. Because I was competitive, and we did compete. Like, we used to play this game, and it would be boys and girls. Most of the girls wouldn't play, but I would step in and play. And boy, she would really, and my mom, would just say, keep going, keep competing. But even, the little video that we watched with Billie Jean was fascinating. You should play that.
Well, girls are taught to be perfect.
Yeah.
And boys are taught to be brave. And it's ridiculous. That's why I love sports, because the one thing sports do for girls, it gives them confidence. Mm-hmm. They learn to trust their bodies, because we're taught not to trust our bodies. They do very little research on us for our health compared to men.
Yes,
the money spent is just outrageous. It's always about the guys. We know very little about ourselves. People don't know about women very much, internally or externally, okay? The reason I want girls to go into sports at all, and they don't have to be good. Everybody goes, well, I can't be the best. No,
it's not about being the best.
It's about the culture. I want girls to get into sports because we know 94% of women in C-suites identify as being an athlete. It's more comfortable, and also we learn how to lead. Girls that learn sports learn how to lead, make decisions, live with it, and move on.
When we talk about what it takes to win, like you've been part of so many winning teams, like what does it take?
A commitment. It takes good people that you surround yourself with good people. I've been surrounded by good people. I've been placed here, right? And you just try to learn from all of them. Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. Like the people that clean in here and coach. Somebody you. I don't even know you.
Just for context, I got Coach's number from a guy I met in Texas through somebody else, and just texted her and be like, hey, can I just come in and just meet you and just, I don't know, hang out or whatever. And we've been hanging out since like, I don't know, 10:30. It's now 1:45. She's dying for me to leave her office and just leave her alone. And we were just hanging out and having the crack and just having good conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like you seem to see it or get it or something.
What is it about, the pursuit of excellence? What drives you now? Like, I'm just interested. And how has it changed from the start of your career?
What drives me now? Winning. Because that's all I wanted to do. That was ingrained in my brain when I was competing against my brothers and sisters when I was little, because I was always trying to play catch up. Now, I didn't win much as an athlete, but I feel like I've been humbly and thankfully surrounded by people that I can see what winning takes, and you just try to elevate it. There's lots of characteristics of it, but I think we read them before: competition, unselfishness, accountability, having standards, being surrounded by great people with the team, living in the edge of discomfort, and winning.
What advice should young athletes or coaches ignore?
Get on social media. I don't know. I don't know what people are advising other people.
Or probably a better question, what advice would you give them?
To younger athletes? Younger athletes who
want to be playing elite sport in whatever discipline, maybe basketball, maybe field hockey, or just pursuit of excellence.
Find good people that you can trust, that are in it for your development or their development. Some people say be a sponge, and I heard somebody say, don't be a sponge, be a filter. So filter out things that are good and work for you, and things that might not be good for you, throw those away.
I noticed there's a note from Nika there, and after the championship game, Paige said in the interview, she mentioned you and all the work you've done. Just interested in, like, when the alumni that come out of here, and after you work with an athlete, what would you like them to say about you, and what would you like them to think when they hear your name?
That I cared, that I cared about them, I cared about winning, I cared about them growing and learning, and me learning from them too. Again, I try to learn from everybody. Hopefully they leave with confidence and knowing what it takes to excel. These guys have way more discipline than I do, or I did. I feel like I have discipline with what I'm doing now with writing. But that comes, I think there are different stages, right? You go through different things that are important to you, or growth.
That was on the podcast I listened to this morning about, and I think it's so true, about discipline and passion. Discipline, I think, is related to passion and learning. Like, I think the example this morning on the podcast was around, I think did Nika cheat in some test just because she wasn't, but she's passionate about sport and she'd never cheat in sport. And I think learning, when you're passionate about it, I wasn't passionate about math or, things in school. I'm passionate about this and other things, and the work ethic, I think, changes when you're passionate. It's not work. And I heard a great line I think you'll like around balance. If you're trying to achieve something different or extraordinary, there's no such thing as balance. In terms of, if you're pursuing something, you have to go after it. And again, but I think passion relates to that. If you're passionate about something, I think you'll always have the energy and you'll find it.
That's this Noakes in 2012 out of Australia. And fatigue is perception, right? So when I was writing this paper, I could not sleep. I was like catnapping. And I would wake up and think about it and immediately have to go and write. And that was from midnight to 4. And then I'd try to go back to bed at 4. Then it's like you end up rereading it and then trying to get a catnap someplace else because I was so motivated to write, which has never happened in my life, ever. Because we talked about how do you organize chaos. in a manuscript. And I didn't get tired. I know it'll catch up to me, and I know I will get sleep, as I have been getting some sleep lately, because I'm almost done. But yeah, when you're passionate about something, you don't get tired.
For people listening, what's the context of your research, if you want to discuss a little bit of it?
Currently writing a paper on men's and women's basketball, but it's a really good focus on women in basketball and the rhythms of the season. And college men's and women's basketball, I should say women's and men's basketball.
Definitely here.
College women's and men's basketball, they have the same rhythms. You know, the schedules are the same, and we're confounded by the NCAA framework. So what rhythms pop up, and how can we, as people who help and coach, how can we help find that rhythm and make it optimal for the athlete?
I've noticed on your whiteboard here, you've theory of coaching versus art of coaching. What's that?
Well, there's lots of coaching theories out there, right? The art would be your own personal spin to it, and how you can blend those theories. So I feel like I've tried to do that in the paper. Was, okay, well, these are the coaching theories, or the periodization theories, and the theories that are in research on physiology and things like that. And then how did that apply to what we were doing here?
One thing I'm always fascinated about, I asked you about it as well, is the individual and the team, improving the individual and team overall. And I was talking to you about motivating the athletes that aren't playing and are the practice players in larger squads. Just how do you individualize your approach with an athlete?
Well, we have a framework, right? And depending on who it is, can they adapt to the framework? And if they can adapt to the framework, it makes it easy. But that's not easy, right? Because everybody's dealing with different contextual stressors and external stressors. How do they respond to those things? And how can we get them to respond in a positive way to be ready to match the rhythms of the season? They'll tell you in a way what they need. You know, whether that's they need more discipline, or they need more accountability, or do they need more, what type of recovery do they need, or do they need muscular recovery, do they need tendon recovery, so they'll tell you what they need in a way. You're just trying to help them get on that schedule.
What's the biggest jump or adaptation for freshmen or for transfers coming into a program like UConn for the first time?
Capacity. Do they have the capacity to withstand the needs of what the program? If they do, they tend to play. If they don't, they tend not to as much, so constantly we're trying to build that capacity if they need it. And if they already have it, then what can we do to increase that capacity even more for improvement?
How do you remove the psychological limiters when you're developing capacity?
Repetitions, right? That gives them confidence. So you have to have repetitions to build confidence. And then throw chaos in there a little bit just to see how they respond.
Yeah. Give us an example of chaos.
Well, chaos would be more of like something that would happen in the off season or summer, like on a Friday after everybody's done for the week, and then have them, I don't know, test them some way in terms of capacity or resilience, or even a teamwork exercise to see if they can figure it out when they're tired.
How do you add in the fun?
I think everybody here in this building has fun working hard. So everybody's got their passion. And I think it's, now again, I could apply it to me writing paper. I never, ever, ever in my life had fun writing a paper, but I've actually had fun writing this one, including my dissertation. That was not fun. This one is almost another dissertation, but I've found it fun.
Am I right in thinking the biggest challenge was putting it all on paper and articulating your thoughts and putting it together for someone else to read?
Yeah, how can we help? I don't know. People might not like it. They might say this is trash, but and it does make me feel vulnerable. But if it can help others, then that's great.
Is there any particular book or podcast?
Maybe somebody will help me, giving me feedback from the paper. Yeah.
You can do another one.
I don't know.
Definitely not.
No, I know I can see it. I have 100 papers in this paper, so it's just if I have the time to do that or the want to do that.
Is there any books or podcasts or resources that you regularly go to learn or to find different clips?
There's this. I've been listening to these audiobooks on the way to work. Now, some of these are out there, but I appreciate, it's being on the edge. And this one's called The Source by Tara Swart. She's an MD PhD. The Signs by Tara Swart, MD PhD. Good Energy by Casey Means. Mindset by Carol Dweck. The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah, I've listened to that one. Yeah, it's
great.
good.
It's unbelievable.
Good.
Sacred Silly, How Play Rewires Your Brain. I have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer. Yeah.
Brilliant. I'll link them in the thing for everyone. In terms of teams and your staff, is there a role or a trait that's key to success that isn't maybe always valued or emphasized?
I think to figure out who people are, and again, that goes through relationship building, and trying to understand what motivates people, what motivates them to play, what motivates them to learn, what motivates them to do the things they do.
When you were saying good people, define the values of a good person that you would like in your staff.
Somebody who works hard, somebody who cares, somebody who wants to grow.
Men's basketball just walked in, guys, for a workout. Just if you were wondering, it's the UConn men's team in the background. Is Coach Hudy here now?
Probably not. Yeah. Growth mindset, caring about something bigger than themselves and learning from that. Positivity. And having fun. Yeah. I have fun at work. My sister says I've been on spring break since high school. No, that is not true because it's hard, right? There's a lot of pressure to win. So, yeah.
How have you found writing the paper and reflecting? Probably, have you reflected on your coaching career in terms of writing, or do you reflect often?
Every day, all the time. Yeah. That's where the madness steps in, right? I'd like to get, I have, in my journal I wrote reflection or ruminating. So what's the difference? Reflection you can probably stop, ruminating you can't. So I think there's positives and negatives to, rumination's not bad, not good.
How important is self-awareness as an athlete, but also as a coach, from your experience?
Well, I would say it's really important, but then, are you self-aware enough to make the correction? You make mistakes in the past, and it takes you a while to correct some things. Or you can correct things right away. So I feel like I'm still on the path to correction every day.
Paul McGinley is an Irish golfer, and he had a very good podcast, actually, a high performance podcast. For any of the regular listeners, they'll be like, yeah, she's mentioned it again. But he made a really interesting point on it. He spoke to a golf coach, I think it was the University of Washington, about recruiting golfers, that it's their only plan. There's no backup. Whereas Paul's career, just for his background, he did a degree, he worked for a year and then went to the Q school and qualified and became a professional golfer and Ryder Cup captain, and now consults for Team Europe. In terms of going all in sport but having a backup plan, I'm just interested in your thoughts on, because he made the point that having the backup plan freed him to be the best athlete he could be. And I'm just interested in your thoughts on that.
100%. I have 4 degrees now, but I'm still a coach, or high performance, or whatever you want to call it. But it has to do with people and building relationships and those things. Now, if somebody said, Hudy, you can't coach anymore tomorrow, I don't have a backup plan, but I have weapons potentially that could help me find something else. So, yeah. Or I have retirement. So it's like you have all these weapons. What do you do with them? Weapons might not be a good word. Tools, thank you. I tend to not, right?
That's why I'm here.
Tools, thank you. Yeah, so you build up a tool chest, right? And what do you do with the tools when you're done with them? Or can you create a new tool out of all your tools?
Yeah. That podcast was called the High Performance Podcast, and they open every question with what's your definition of high performance? It's a word we throw around a lot.
What's the thing that you've come up with? What's the best definition?
I robbed it from one of their co-hosts. It was doing the best with what you can, when you can, with what you've got, and just adapting to your environment. Well,
hopefully this model that I've created can help with high performance. I don't know though. We'll see. We'll see if people like it or not. It works for us.
What's your definition
of high performance?
Yeah.
Well, I think it has to do with the human side and the athlete side. So it's health and performance. Can we optimize health and optimize performance? And optimize psychology, competition. As Coach would say, timing is everything. So can we time it to happen at the right time? Has anybody talked about timing in high performance?
Not with me, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you said, the importance of timing and high performance. Can you explain that?
Yeah, again, I think it has to do with who they are when they come in and who they are during the week. Again, you don't know what technical stressors people have. But can we help reframe thoughts? Can we all get on the same page at the same time? And that's a juggling act, because it's a moving target, for sure. It's moving with the different players on the team, and it's moving as a unit with the team. It's chaos. And can you kind of organize the chaos and, as you would say, get clarity through it and time it right?
I heard a great quote for luck. It's like when opportunity meets preparation. Because but timing it's all about timing. Are you like, the time will come, but are you going to be ready to step up to whatever it's going to be, whatever's been asked of you? If you could put I heard a great question before, I've robbed it from somebody else. If you could have a billboard with
some of the best ideas are stolen.
Absolutely. I'll never say it. I shouldn't be saying that. If you had a billboard like on campus, say, or I don't know, wherever in the world, in Ireland, in Cork, and you could mess on it, what would you put on it?
I think I would put Romans 5:3-5 on it. We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame. If you've suffered, that would speak to you. And I think life and sports are suffering, and it's kind of dark, but if you find the positivity in it.
I'll rob another question from Oprah.
Oprah?
From Oprah. What do you know for sure about what you do?
Nothing. What do I know for sure about what I do? The more I know, the more I don't know. So what do I know for sure? We got to keep growing.
How do you manage in terms of growing? And like you're saying that for people that don't know, like you're regarded as one of the best coaches in the world. Like your appetite for learning and curiosity is fascinating. But like in terms of your, how do you balance, the
There's no balance.
Okay. Yeah. It just comes in waves, up and down.
Yeah. Undulating. But can you recover between the peaks and recover in the valleys?
Is there a way, like, remember I heard an athlete say before, you're just trying to limiting the swing where it's not as big and you're just trying to keep it in the middle?
Yeah. I think I wrote it in the paper. I don't remember if I edited it out or kept it in there, but it's not the external load, it's not the external load, it's how the athlete responds to it. And can they respond to it consistently? So can we keep those thresholds within a certain range?
What's the difference between coaching men and women?
Well, I gave you the 5 key ones, but those are in my paper.
You have to read the paper. I'll link it and get your views up,
I think women, because of menstrual cycle and things like that, tend to be more, have more cognitive load. I told you I need to come up with a better way to describe it, right? Because guys are pretty binary. Women tend to need a lot more words and love back, or reinforcement. I need that, right? So I don't think guys need that as much.
Hence all of the post-its around the office. People just, no one is going to think of what it looks like. In terms of your, like, I'm just interested in, like, with the research and everything you're doing now. We were talking about it before, about just the lack of maybe research into women's sports and performance. Just where will that be in 10 or 20 years' time?
Well, I hope that there's more coming out, right? That's what I have 3 assistants right now. Hopefully they take this. And I think coaching women is it takes a higher skill set to coach women than it does men, in my opinion. My opinion only. Yeah. Because there's so many other variables involved. But hopefully the next generation of coaches will see it and respect it and run with it. Some of my students here, or assistants, are doing more research, building off what my research was.
If I ring you, let's say in 5 years' time, maybe you come to Ireland, or hopefully you come down before then, but next time we sit down and do this, maybe hopefully sooner, and hopefully do it again, what would you like to have achieved by the next time we chat?
More wins, more health, in women, and in men. I think the paper will help both men and women. I don't know if whatever the achievement is, hopefully it's with us as a group, because it's everybody involved here. Individual achievements don't matter. My biggest achievement was my dissertation. That was my national championship. That was my Olympics. That was 4.5 years, 4 years of constant studying.
Brilliant. I'm going to move on to, I always end every episode with what's called the Sideline 7. It's the same 7 questions at the end of every episode. Because it's so impromptu, you haven't had a chance to see these questions, so I'm interested in your answers, particularly this one, as question 1 is, what is your favourite quote? As I'm surrounded by an office full of quotes, what's your favourite?
My paper starts with, we don't rise to our level of expectations, we fall to our level of training. And then my paper ends with Icarus. So Icarus shows that flight demands preparation.
Love it. Have you ever heard of the man in the arena?
Yes, it's right there.
Yeah. Oh, geez, behind me. And or the man in the man in the glass as well.
No,
There's
not
a
the
good
man
one.
I haven't heard that one, but the man in the arena
is in there. Yeah, I think it's the one, the man in the glass. I'll send it to you. It's really good. It's about kind of achieving and looking yourself in the mirror, and kind of that similar to the mental toughness piece. Can you keep going with it? Question 2: best sporting event you've been to. Pick one as a fan and one that you were involved in.
One I was involved in, best sporting event, was when we won this last year, because it took a lot of effort. As a fan, I watch movies and watch streaming services, and I try to look at character development throughout those. I'm a fan of like really good shows. So it's tough to go to a sporting event as a fan. Really tough. I like Schitt's Creek. I like Shrinking. What are some other good ones that I like? I don't know. I like Silence of the Lambs. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Shawshank Redemption. Just the character development coming out of that. I would write papers on that.
You've prompted another question I actually like asking. What's the biggest misconception about elite athletes?
That they have egos. People always ask me how I deal with egos, and I'm like, what? I think everybody's got an ego.
If you're good at something, you have an ego.
What's that?
If you're good at something, you have an ego.
Well, I don't even think you need to be good at something to have an ego. But everybody always asks me that, and I'm like, what?
Question 3: biggest setback or challenge so far in your career, and how did you react to it?
Like when I came back after COVID, I think COVID threw a wrench in the system for like what people were doing during COVID, which was laying down and not moving. We saw a lot of injuries after that, and early specialization. I think we've seen some injuries from that. So the challenge was how do we correct it? How do we get out of it? And people ask me like, what do we do for conditioning? And I would tell you to get volume. We walk 3 to 4 miles. Just get the system moving and build capacity that way. Because these athletes, they go from 0 to 100. They go from sitting and screening to playing basketball, and there's nothing in between. So I feel like I needed to try to fill that gap of the in-between. And walking, like they weren't allowed to take their phones, so let's go walk and talk. And they hated it. They were like sprinting, stopping, waiting, sprinting, stopping, waiting. And I was like, as a 53-year-old woman, I should not be able to beat you walking, right? So I was the pace car walking, and they would sprint and come back. And then they got in trouble for sprinting, and I'm like, just walk. It's like there was no regulation in terms of their speed on walking. They didn't want to walk. They wanted to run. They're like thoroughbreds.
Always going somewhere, doing something.
Yeah.
Because we don't sit enough now and just... I'm terrible for it. I said to you, I'm always listening to something. I'm always trying, you have to learn to sit and just with your own thoughts. The flip side, your biggest achievement on or off the court?
I always identified myself as an athlete and a coach growing up and as an adult. And my most recent achievement is finishing the PhD, because I wouldn't have been able to do that 30 years ago. There's no way. So to be able to find a passion in studying, and everything that I studied was about our team, and to be able to organize that, I think has probably been, I'm pretty proud of that academic achievement, because again, academics meant something to me before, and I was always learning though. So where do you learn, in the classroom or in the world? So the academic rigor that took was next level.
I heard a term before, I think you'd like it, it's pracademic.
Pracademic?
Yeah.
What's that?
More practical than academic.
Yeah.
So you learn by doing.
Yeah, that's how I am. I learn. I would rather make the mistake 100 times and learn that way versus read a book and tell me how to do it.
Question 5, advice to your 18-year-old self.
Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people that you can learn from. Go outside of your athletic world and have diversity, from academic, athletic, corporate.
Question 6, dream dinner guest and why?
My mom. Why?
I think it's fairly self-explanatory.
Because I miss her.
Yeah.
And she'd probably tell me the same thing she told me when I was 5.
Yeah. Love it. Final question. If your life was a book, which someday I hope it is, what chapter would this be called?
Menopause. The spiral. The tornado. The hurricane.
Well, I've loved this, and I've loved hanging out all morning. And thanks for your time. I look forward to doing this again. And in Ireland, I'll bring you to Croke Park. That'll be the best.
I'm going to meet you next time in Cork.
Oh yeah. And well, that'll be the best sporting event you've been to. Is a Gaelic. It's a GA match.
Oh, okay.
That'll be the answer to that one.
Maybe I could go as a fan.
Oh yeah.
I would love that.
Get your good tickets.
I would love that.
In the experience and everything, you'd love it. And thanks for your time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you.